let's say you have two people, right? And they're coming to you and they're like, Sam, I would like a raise. What is a situation where you'd be like, yes, 100% take it? And what is a situation where you'd be like, no?
Okay. I kind of use the analogy of building a house.
Okay.
You don't start the conversation by saying, "Hey, I have this beautiful home, and here's all the great things that I have in the home." You start the conversation by
So first question for you is, let's say an ambitious 22-year-old came up to you. They're like, I want to work for you and I'm down to work and grind. And their end goal was to maybe like, this whole idea of entrepreneurs, their goal is to eventually own a piece of the company down the line. To that 22-year-old you're looking at, if they ask you for an exact roadmap for the next 8 years of their life, how would you lay out, wow, everything, how would, I'm just gonna hold it. How would you lay out the roadmap for their life?
I wouldn't. And so hear me out on this one for a second, because I think everybody's looking for that magic formula or that quick answer or that, give me the little check boxes that I need to check off so that I can achieve what you've achieved.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you're going to be successful, to be quite honest. So don't look to anybody, including myself, for the roadmap on how you get success. The only person who can dictate that for you is you. So having that passion, having that drive is what's going to get you there. So don't try and say, hey, give me all the different things that you need to do to get successful. Don't ask me those questions. Ask me instead, what can I do because I want to learn X? Mm-hmm. And can you help me learn X? Mm-hmm. Then I will open up every door for you. So so that 22-year-old, hypothetical 22-year-old, we're not talking about anybody in particular, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think you ask yourself, or lay out for yourself, these are the 5 to 10 things I want to learn, and go seek out the people who could teach you those things. That's what I would
just
say.
seek out, chase the learning.
Yes,
Basically, just chase the
absolutely.
learning.
Be a lifelong learner is the other thing I would tell you. It's super critical. And if you ask
So
me,
can you move 1 sec? So it just turned off. I'm just gonna place that camera here real quick, and we continue. Is that okay? Yeah. It seems like based on what you're saying is figure out who you want to be, and then from there figure out what learning opportunities you need to chase to become the person that you are, and naturally success will come.
that's right.
Is that right?
And keep that mentality of wanting to be a lifelong learner. And by that I mean, read a ton. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about the things that are going to get you down a specific career path, but it could be reading about industry in general or other trends or something fun even. Read fiction, read a bunch of different things. That'll gives you a whole different perspective on life, and it helps you understand the mentality and the mental model that others have, especially these authors who've created some really cool work. Get into that stuff because that'll help you really get into those different ideas that you want to pursue.
Amazing. And for you, at USCO, you probably do a lot of hiring and things of that nature, right? How do you decide who on the team would be good fit for management?
Yeah. So I'm not going to use the term management.
Oh
again,
yeah.
right? Just
Bad word.
No, it's not a bad word. I just there's a label that people have around that, and they think it's like this great attainment that they have. No, it's you're either you are a manager or you're not, based on your skills. Right? And so if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you're ever thrust in a management position and you don't have it, you know those people. You probably worked for those people in your past life, and they're horrible. They're controlling, and they don't know how to inspire you, and they don't know how to get you to do the great things that you want to do, and they don't ever teach you more, right? So what I would say is, when I'm looking for somebody who wants to come on board, I'm looking for somebody who wants to learn, and that is absolutely the key component. I don't care if you have a degree of some sort.
You don't care about a degree.
No,
Oh,
and
okay.
This is. I think more and more people are really understanding that now. If you go to some of the largest technology companies, they're not recruiting based on where you went to school. They're recruiting you based on your skill and your knowledge and your capacity to learn. And I think that is a much better metric of your success, your future success, than any degree that you could have had. So I'm looking for those people who are willing to learn.
So if like your team member or someone, your employee came up to you, they were like, yo, Sam, I'm really hungry. I'm willing to put in the work and I want to become management. This is what I can do and here's what I can help with and here's some problems I can solve. Are you down to have me as manager? That is ideally what you look for rather than like, oh, this person's good enough, put them in
Yeah,
management.
let me be more granular. If somebody came in and say, I want to be a manager, I'd be like, but why? What is it? What's driving you toward wanting to lead people? And what is the thing that you want to learn out of having led people? So it's not about the actual job description. It's about what is the path that's going to get me there and what are you going to learn along that path? That's more critical than about attaining a certain job. Okay? It's what your learning is going to look like. And how are you going to apply that learning? How are you going to make it successful for you and successful for your organization that you work at?
Amazing. That's so interesting. How do people? One thing I've noticed about like a lot of my past CEOs and everything, they're always connected with one another. Like they have a community around them where everyone's like owns a company, they're successful in this and everything, right? And then I talk to some of you guys like watch this video and everything. We're just looking for our first entry level role. We're just job hunting and we're just casually chilling with friends. How does one who's in that perspective build relationships with people like you? Like how does one become friends with you essentially? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so. I get a lot of cold LinkedIn requests. I'm sure everybody does. It's like, and I will tell you that absolutely this many work, right? It is like, it does not. It does not. And what really resonates more with me is when somebody says, hey, Sam, you learned this, it looks like in your early career. I'm wondering if you could tell me about that. Or I'm looking to learn this, X or whatever it is. Is that something that you might be able to help me with? And approach it more from a perspective of wanting to understand and to pick up a new piece of knowledge. And that resonates with me. I'm always wanting to and willing to help somebody who's looking to learn. And so if you come at me with an angle like that, that's where we can build a relationship. And once we've got that initial conversation, I'm going to ask you, what can I learn from you? What can I pick up that I don't already know? And so be prepared to be able to offer something back.
So that's so interesting. So basically, you got to build yourself up towards the people you want to hang out with. That's how I see it.
Of course, absolutely. And there are many different tactics you can use to kind of get introduced to people, but a network is there for you to utilize. And so if you see somebody that you're connected to or have a friendship with or had a conversation with at a different event way back when, reach out to them and say, hey, can you introduce me to somebody else? And that actually works quite well. These cold emails and these cold solicitations on LinkedIn.
Sleazy stuff.
No.
And okay, so a lot of people who watch these podcasts and vlogs, whatever, we're essentially job seekers, right? And one of the questions that I always get is, Alif, how do I know how much I'm worth in the marketplace? And I'd love to ask you this question. So you as a CEO, you've hired probably a number of people and you probably had to make decisions on how much their base would be and everything, right? So from your perspective as someone higher up, what do you base someone's salary off? What criteria do you want them to hit essentially?
Yeah, I don't want to give you a non-answer. And by that, I mean, I don't want to deflect it and kind of say, yeah, it is what the market pays. That's not true. Look, at the end of the day, the only person who dictates what your salary is you.
Okay.
And that's if you can get around that mentality that you are the person who's responsible for determining your own worth, that now should empower you to go seek out the best salary out there. So a person like me is only going to ask the question back. How much do you want? And how much do you think you're worth? Show me that you're worth that. And absolutely, you're going to get paid that.
What do you mean, show me that you're worth that?
Well, and so this comes back to this idea of what are the things that you've learned that you can apply when you come to this organization? What are the things that you want to learn while you're here? And what impact are you going to have longer term? If you can answer those things, then you're going to show value. So if you're coming to me and you're saying, hey, I just graduated, I'm worth $80,000, $100,000, $150,000. I'm going to question that because you're just throwing out a number. If you said it a different way and you said, hey, look, I just finished this course at school. It taught me about how to build websites. And I did this other thing where I was working in the summer and it taught me about how to lead a team of people. And you build yourself up and you give me concrete examples of the things that you've learned. And then you turn around and you say, now, of all those 5 or 10 things that I've just shown you that I've learned, here's how I'm going to apply them when I come to you. The back of my mind, I'm adding up all the great things that you're about to do. and I'm saying, okay, this person is now worth this. Oh, wow. The value keeps increasing in my mind. And so I want that person on my team. I want to make sure that they have a better than market offer.
Really?
That's the
Okay.
idea
So
behind
lead
this.
by value, level up yourself,
Yeah.
get the skill sets, and know when I come to a company, you will get this result. So hence, pay me this much, right?
Yeah.
That's what it
And
is.
know that you are worth it.
So self confidence is the biggest thing
Absolutely.
right now,
For
right?
sure. For sure.
So there's no like behind the scenes kind of like benchmark standard. Okay, if they're
Look,
this,
there's tons of different websites you can go to and say, hey, how much does a software developer make, and how much does a first year finance person make, or whatever. You can do all that research. You can get ballpark figures, but at the end of the day, it's you who determines what that value is for yourself. And so you should be empowered to do that.
Awesome, perfect. And just last two questions before we cut off. Another question I often get is, Alif, how do I approach a person to get asked for a raise and everything? And I'd love to hear your perspective as literally the person who runs the company. How would let's say you have two people, right? And they're coming to you and they're like, Sam, I would like a raise. What is a situation where you'd be like, yes, 100% take it? And what is a situation where you'd be like, no?
Okay. I kind of use the analogy of building a house.
Okay.
You don't start the conversation by saying, "Hey, I have this beautiful home, and here's all the great things that I have in the home." You start the conversation by saying, "Here's let's build the basement, and let's build the walls, and let's kind of create the rooms, and let's have the roof, and let's kind of create all the infrastructure that we need before getting to the end result, which in this scenario is a raise." So if you're coming to me and you're saying, I'd like a raise, it's because you probably spent the last whatever weeks or months building yourself up for that opportunity to ask the final question. Okay? So you've created the value. You've shown that value day in, day out. You've learned something. You've applied it, and you've created value for the organization. As you go and create all these different reference points of all the success you've had, the question about a raise is almost moot. It is like, yeah, of course you deserve it. I see all the great things that you've just done. So why not kind of pack the deck, so to speak?
Yeah.
Give yourself every opportunity to get that raise. And don't ask cold, because that, if there's no success or there's no history of all the great value you've created, nobody's going to give you that raise.
Yeah.
But if you've created that chain and you've showcased it and you talk about it and you're now then asking, it's almost a de facto yes that you're going to get anyway.
And you're happy to give a raise in that sense. You would be like, yes, for sure. If I see all
In fact,
these
I'm
results.
surprised you didn't ask me for more. Should be the response.
So if you're trying to get raised, the goal is to outgrow your worth. So just when you go up to them, you ask for a raise this much, but really the value you'd add to the organization is worth like 10 times that. Is that how you?
It would be amazing if you could do that. Yes.
That would be the ideal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And just one last question. Again, a lot of job seekers kind of watch my content. For job seekers right now who may have lost their jobs due to COVID and they're struggling and they're trying to look for the next opportunity, what is one piece of advice that you can give them that'll help them find that dream job, I guess?
Yeah. Don't give up. Is probably the biggest thing. And, look, it's a bit of a cliche now to say that we're going through some tough times. Of course we are. Everybody realizes that. Businesses aren't hiring as quickly as they used to. It's been a complete change from even just 7-8 months ago. The circumstances are very different. It is difficult to find a great position, but they do exist, and they will exist. And if there's anything that I've learned coming out of the dot-com bust in the late 90s, the financial crisis in 07, 08, it's that the economy will turn around. And there will be a moment where there will be a huge number of opportunities that surface. Just be ready for it. If you don't find that ideal job right now, use the opportunity to up your skill level, to learn the things that you want to learn. And it's not necessarily everything has to be job related. It can be picking up something that may not be job related, but will give you a different perspective. Finding something that is an outlet for a creative activity will give you that mental, it'll allow you to kind of really exist and be able to be happy with yourself, as opposed to being conflicted and nervous about not having found a job.
Yeah.
So take the time, learn a new skill, do something that's creative, and then when the jobs do start opening up again, you'll have the right opportunity come across your plate.
So it seems like just level up, like always be growing and learning.
Yeah, but isn't that a life lesson? Like, throughout your life, you should always be looking to learn. And I'll tell you, if there's one last thing I can leave people with, it's that those who want to learn are often the most successful in our society.
I feel so motivated right now. It's crazy. I just feel so. We have to end it there. Like I feel so motivated. Awesome, perfect. Well, so many gems you dropped on this podcast / YouTube video, wherever you guys are watching this, listen to this. Look at this. This is kind of weird right now, isn't it? But sorry for all the technical issues we just had. But thank you so much for being here, Sam. I really appreciate this. And
thanks for having me.
Do you want people to follow you? Like, should I?
Okay. Twitter at Sam Vassa. You can get me on LinkedIn. You can find me in all kinds of
no
places.
cold messages. Like
you can even email me, sam@paymentevolution.com.
Oh, we got the CEO's email.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, Sam, appreciate this. And I'll see you back at my desk.
All right. Thanks
awesome.
a lot.
Take care.